So things are still a little bit choppy at the moment. We saw a nice bounce yesterday for BTC, and now they've sent it back down, and we're testing that area again. On US markets, we had a nice green open, and they've reversed it. So are we getting chopped up? Is this the start of something bigger? I've got something that I'm going to show you guys today that could indicate that we are going to feel some altcoin pain and some pain in the market over the next 2 weeks at least. There's actually a couple of things that I want to show you. Then I've got a couple of meme coins we're going to go through. I promised you guys some meme things. I told you guys yesterday, if you gave me comments, I would chart those for you. So I've got them set up for you. Then we're looking at a couple of altcoins as well. We've got these levels. Where can these things go now if we're going to get this meltdown that I'm looking at? So I've got these things teed up for you guys. We got a lot to talk about, and it's Friday. Let's see what happens this weekend. I see Cameron's in the chats there saying, don't worry, Dylan's going to fix it. Guys, I'm trying to fix it. I'm trying to blow the candles up for you guys at the moment. Can somebody tell me what safe is and why is safe 21.5% up? You know what's going to be hilarious? When safe is getting smashed and it's down 50%. I mean, that is going to be something we're going to laugh about. So whatever the safe situation is, I'd love to know if you guys can inform me. Other than that, things are looking pretty red out there on Banter Bubbles. The only positive that I can see right now on Banter Bubbles for me is my gummy ticker at the top of the screen there. And it's just loading up airdrop points for me. So if you guys are on Banter Bubbles, make sure you register your account there, and you can take part in that Banter, the gummy airdrop on Banter Bubble. So look at my little counter. This thing is spinning. So I'm farming my little airdrop here as we go. Right. Okay. There was something hilarious that just happened now. It's classic. It almost feels like bear market conditions here, where we're getting these short little pumps and these short little dumps. And I really just found this hilarious with BTC here. And this guy, 𝗦𝗚𝗚𝗏, he said he can't argue with the market. This was exactly at 9:30 on the US market open. Look at this pump that they gave us. We got so excited because we had BTC bouncing off a 618 fib, and it was just absolute perfection the way they sent it up. And now they've completely reversed on us here, even though the S&P gapped higher today, and we had some great Google earnings. So things are definitely a little bit spicy at the moment in crypto world. And you know, if you're getting chopped up, you're not alone there. With the guys getting smashed around at the moment. So sometimes, like I've explained before, sometimes the best strategy here is to just kick back and look at the bigger picture here and not get involved in too many setups, too many trades. Don't overtrade in these type of conditions, because this market is designed to wear you out. It's designed to make you tired so that you go away. And then the minute you leave, they're going to come and they're going to start sending these things higher. So just be patient, take your foot off the gas, smaller positions, and don't overtrade. Look at this big picture all the time. Remember, we went deep yesterday into some levels that I'll recap for you again today on Bitcoin on the bigger picture. But right now, what am I watching today? What am I looking at currently? What is my plan? So we are testing this area now that we pinged yesterday. So we had a nice buy up yesterday. That could tell us we could get a little bit of action in this zone once again. And, we're going to see if the sell-off is going to continue. So I'm testing a couple of areas here for a potential bounce. The 63,200. I'm watching this zone currently, 63,200. Then yesterday I mentioned this is a big one for me. The 618 fib, they haven't visited this fib yet. And, we don't like to think a move is complete on BTC if we haven't come down and pinged the 618. So 62,400 for me today is still a big one that I would like to see some action on. I want to see this touched, and I want to see them come visit here. So 62,400, big zone for me. Then a little bit lower down, if things get messy, we're looking at the 61,200 level. So those are downside areas we want to pay attention to. And then upside areas, well, we can see last night's high or yesterday's high, depends on where you are in the world. That's going to be a resistance zone for you. So 65,300. Watch that area, and it ties in very nicely here with this trend at the moment. So look at this guy over there, 65,300. Pay attention to that. If we do start pushing higher, expect a reaction, expect a rejection or something in that area, and don't get overexcited. Don't be the guy if we get a pump that starts FOMOing at the top of a resistance area, because as we've seen now, the market's giving us tiny little moves, and then they're sending us lower, and they're really playing a choppy game at the moment. So just be safe. out there with your trading. I see Candy says pain. Abdul wants some Litecoin action. I don't have Litecoin today. I've got so many tokens that I want to show you guys, and Litecoin is not on the list. Shady the Trap says Hammy. Guys, I've got Hammy for you. You spoke to me in the chats yesterday, and I'm delivering Hammy for you guys today. Gummy is a question from Loan. I've got Gummy for you today as well. We're charting that one. And okay, let's see. Kevin is in the chats as well. Fabson says Hammy to the moon. Where did all these Hammy guys come from? I see there's lots of Hammy traders here. And who got that Neo setup yesterday, that Neo long setup that I dropped? We're going to go through that one too. We're going to recap what is happening there. Okay, so that is my current plan. Here is my current trading situation on Prime XBT. I'm still messing around with Sol and BTC. That long that I took yesterday, I was long 1.5 BTC. I closed that when we got that rejection at the high yesterday afternoon. So this is now a fresh one that I'm looking at now. This is a new potential move, and you can see what I've done here on Prime XBT. I've got a little buy entry lower down in case they want to come and test that wick from yesterday. I've got another little buy there that I've laddered in, and then what I'm going to do is just add a stop loss to the zone here just under this wick. So I'm going to do it here for you guys now on Prime XBT. So it's going to be at 62654. So what I'm going to do there is click on SL, and I'm going to go put my stop loss in 62654. And that is what I'm looking at now on BTC. So there's my trade setup. The nice thing about Prime XBT, you know, that it's quite clear in front of you. The candles, I feel, are really clearly printed on these charts, and it's quite easy to operate around. So that is my current trade setup for BTC there, looking for a little tiny little bounce, nothing big here. We're just scalping at the moment. And if you're interested in Prime XBT, remember, you can trade oil, futures, gold, all those things. The link is in the description, and there is a sign-up bonus there for you guys of 7%. Okay, something's happening in the news. I just love this stuff. I mean, Michael Saylor, you know, love him or hate the guy, but he was buying Bitcoin at ridiculous prices, and everyone was laughing that he bought the top. Never forget that. And now this man, with his conviction, is still sitting at $6.2 billion in unrealized profit from his Bitcoin investment. Remember when this guy was buying the top, and you know, we were, well, I wouldn't say we were laughing at the guy, but we were saying, geez, this guy's got a set of balls on him. And you know, he's really had conviction, and he's done really well. And another nice one out of the news, this was great, this Google result. So remember, we said this week was a massive week for us from a crypto perspective, because we've seen in the past good results from companies like Google, Meta, and Tesla. They've always sort of ignited, and NVIDIA, obviously, they've always sort of ignited the crypto market and moved some of the tokens. So it's quite interesting now that we're seeing a pump in Google today that I'm going to show you, and the crypto market is turning over. So a little bit disappointing from that side. But if you're trading Google, and you know, it's been a big mover now after posting great earnings results. And I just wanted to give the Google traders, I know there's a couple of stock traders in the mix here as well. I just wanted to give the stock traders a Google target as to where this could potentially go, and what your upside could be here for Google. So the first thing you do is you're going to pull a 1.618 fib. So you're going to take it from the previous high to the low, and then you're going to just adjust your fib to a 1.618, and that can give you a type of a guide as to where the price could potentially move to. So right now, Google targets 190 to 193. Looks like it could start pushing into those regions. So take a look there. That could be good. And then I quite enjoyed this one. I mean, the way it's pumped, it's always relative or relevant in crypto as well. You got to watch this guy. I just love this. Now imagine these guys. Remember these analysts, like, you know, they get paid a lot of money to give their opinions on things. And, you know, sometimes obviously they're wrong, and we see it a lot of the time. I just want to pull up this correct chart here for you guys. And I really enjoyed this. Those running a private paid subscription service explaining to their subs why they told them to short Google before earnings yesterday. I just love this.
That's a fairly large that's kind of a lot.
I know, but we were.
That's a fairly large
So anyone who was telling or trying to short Google into those results, definitely feeling a little bit of heat there. How's head of likes over here? What's happening here? You're very quiet today.
I mean, we're doing a few things here, but they need to smash the like. That's what needs to happen.
Guys, if you like the content, whatever part of the content you like, even if it's just my hat or my amazing sense of humor, hit the like, hit the subscribe button, and hit that notification and stay in touch with us and make Uncle Ray very happy here. Okay, here's some more news floating around, not smoking around. Here's some news, Ray, floating around. Whale panda. Bro, I don't know anything, bro. I know nothing, bro. Okay, whale panda, today's ETF flow. So what we have seen, we've seen these ETF situations slow down a little bit. So that's not the best look for us. They're actually negative now at the moment. Remember, we had such a nice long run where these things were net positive, net positive, net positive. And whatever Grayscale was doing wasn't really mattering because these guys were just pulling in dollars all the time. And now that has slowed down. And we've also seen Grayscale as well start selling off. So that might explain a little bit of the downside that we had yesterday as well in the crypto market. So we just need to watch and keep our eyes on this thing. Now, this is the first indicator here for me that we might see some downside. Now, yesterday I touched on the chart. I touched on that $50,000 level on Bitcoin. I touched on maybe a bleed out on some of these alts and a couple of things. And then this just is reinforcing what I was telling you guys yesterday, that we just need to be cautious for the next while. This REKT Capital account is actually saying he wants to be cautious for the next 2 weeks. I was saying anything can happen for the next 3 to 6 weeks. We don't actually know with the sell in May and go away situation. But basically what he's saying here, if you take a look at his chart, he's saying this purple band that you see on the chart is in fact the danger zone for any pullbacks on BTC. And if you look at what happened in 2016, there was a massive drawdown on this left-hand side. If you look at this left-hand chart, on the right-hand side, this is where we are now, and we are now in this danger zone. And he's telling you that this danger zone lasts for the next 2 weeks. So this is a critical time for us. This is a time for us to really be measured in what we are doing and really be safe and not overdo things and just really take a step back and watch what is going on. Observe more, trade less, and just pay attention to the market. Our time is going to come when these things are going to absolutely fly. You're not going to miss the boat. And so what? If you miss the first 10% of a move, so what if you miss the first 20% of an altcoin move? There's going to be another 100%, 200%, 300% on the way for you guys when these things turn bullish. Just get the perspective right, and you don't have to FOMO in and try and catch the bottom of moves and all these things. Right now we can just be measured, we can take a step back and really just observe what is going on at the moment. Okay, and here's BTC on the daily. This was the chart I looked at yesterday. So this confirmed downtrend is happening right now. So the first zone of interest, and I gave this to Sniper Club earlier today on a private Zoom that we gave them. This is my first big high conviction bounce area for Bitcoin. It's going to be 60,000 give or take in that level. So look out, 60,000. Look for a big bounce here if we do get a move into that zone. So that is big area number one that I'm paying attention to. And then lower down, once we start losing this region, there's a possibility that they're going to send us lower to these areas. Could this happen in the next 2 weeks? Yeah, well, yes, that is on the table now. And if you look at REKT Capital's chart, that starts making more sense to us. So what I'm thinking here is this 50 is still in play, and this is going to be a high conviction long year for us, around about 50 to 51k. And just to reiterate the levels and why I like this, we've got some daily horizontals here. I've got a nice 618 fib pool, and I've got a 200-day moving average slowly moving higher. Now remember, this 200-day MA is going to start moving up every single day, and at some point it's going to tie in to around about this 49k to 50k level. So looking for a wick perhaps onto that sort of area, and it could get pretty interesting for us when we are down there, but we might be very scared by the time that is happening. But remember, we're going to play our strong levels, and we're going to have conviction on the good areas, and that's how we're going to play this game. Okay, wow, look at this. Okay, so this was, if you guys looked at my tile today, this was my warning to you. This is Bitcoin dominance on the 4 hour, and this is actually incredible what we are seeing happening here. So what dominance did earlier, and this is why I gave you guys that red tile, that warning, saying alt could start getting wrecked here. And what's happened here, we've had a 4-hour trend break on Bitcoin dominance, and it's popped up. And that's when you started seeing some extra pressure now on these altcoins a little bit earlier today. Now, this is now happening now. This is a live feed. We're getting a dominance rejection. And that's obviously telling us now that these alts are starting to find their feet. And, they're fighting back. The altcoins are fighting back. They're trying to hold their big levels that they're sitting on. Now, I'm going to show you some of these big altcoin levels, and I'm going to show you what the next major area is if we're going to get this vicious bounce now in dominance. But so far, for a Friday, I must say, it's quite relaxing seeing this dominance coming down, Ray. feeling a little bit relieved, Jack.
No, but I will shortly.
Dominance. How's that? Isn't that cute? Anastasia says, "Why are you so bearish?" Anastasia, short-term bear, long-term mega bull. I think that's the fairest answer. I think that's the safest answer. Look at Ray's hat. Wait till you see the goggles come back on for Ray. When he puts the goggles on, remember, when Ray's goggles come back on, those AI tickers, they start pumping. Okay, so Bitcoin and alt traders, pay attention here. This is great stuff that we're seeing at the moment. The dominance rejection tells us that altcoins are starting to hold levels. They're starting to fight back against Bitcoin, and that is always a good sign for us. So let's just take a look at Bitcoin. Okay, so Bitcoin's hanging around. We're seeing dominance push lower. That is a great start. And we're going to take a look at, we're going to take a look at a lot of these altcoins. And I'm just looking at Link here quickly before I skip to a couple of other ones that I wanted to talk to you guys about. But what I'm watching here is Link. You can see how Link is fighting back on the support level once again. So we've had that dominance pushing up on the 4-hour, and that gave us this red candle on Link. And now we got the dominance pushing down, and it's giving us the green candle on Link. Okay, so you can see these alts are fighting back with dominance. There's a constant battle at the moment, but it's very choppy. If you've been trying to trade Link for the last couple of days, look how you've been chopped around, slapped around, and all these things. So Link traders, if you are interested, this can be the first one of note here. And when I say alt traders could potentially get wrecked, this is your first phase of potentially getting wrecked, because we need to understand that if we lose these major levels that these altcoins are sitting on, we're going to look at a across the board move here of about 10% minimum on some of these altcoins. Okay, so Link a little bit easier. Link's about 8%. That they're giving us at the moment, but your next major level and your next bounce zone is going to be 8 to 10% down across the board on some of these altcoins. So just be prepared for this. If you are sitting in leverage position and you're trying to long these support zones, try not to get involved in a situation now where you might be moving 10% down for your next potential entry. Don't get caught in trades on high leverage and try and ride it down, because a 10% move on a 10x leverage is going to hurt. That's going to be a deep burn of epic proportion. So make sure you understand your levels. But we do enjoy the fact that Link is now trying to hold, and you're going to see a lot of altcoins that I'm going to show you now today are trying to fight back and hold their levels. So we got to pay close attention. So Link traders, your support at the moment 14.3. Watch this level here. If this does start moving back to the upside, you're looking at something like that. But remember, now we've just choppy all the time. So pay attention. And if you do get a little move, make sure you are taking profit early, and make sure you are taking profit at resistance levels that are basically right in front of you. And I'm going to give you this example on Fetch as well that I was trading yesterday, and it basically pinged exactly into a resistance zone like that, and it reversed immediately, and they did a round trip there. So make sure if you get these moves, you're lifting your stops early and you're taking profit at these key levels. Okay, I've got some information for you on two of potentially the shittest coins in shitcoinery history. I don't know how else to explain it. Ray's actually going to laugh at me. I've got XRP's ugly cousin, and I've got bro, it's bad. It's so bad.
No wonder why I'm letting it join.
What do we call MATIC? I mean, MATIC is just the biggest underperformer in history, and
MATIC is such a rug. It's such a rug.
It's the worst. It's the absolute worst. But anyway, there's news. There's news. There's news here on MATIC. So let's just talk about this. Okay, so Franklin Templeton. Now they're in the top 20 of biggest funds in the world. They have now tokenized some RWAs or whatever. They what are they calling it? They've tokenized shares. Okay, called Benji. Okay, on the MATIC network. Now remember, BlackRock did it with ETH. Okay, so they used ETH and ETH pumped. Okay, so now Franklin Templeton, also in the top 20 here of fund managers or financial institutions, have gone ahead and done it on Polygon. But with Polygon, now they're using the transfers using XLM. Okay, shitcoin number 2. And I mean, it's interesting. We're going to look at some of the charts here, and I really enjoyed this tweet from AO.jp. And if you're Chinese isn't as good as mine. Well, basically what he's saying it's now possible to send government bond tokens issued by Franklin Templeton via peer-to-peer with Polygon Stellar. Okay, so as you can see from the attached image, the token build issued by BlackRock has raised 300 million in just a month. Okay, and now others are starting to pop up. Ray, what do you think of my Chinese, bro?
You're doing great.
Pretty good, eh? I mean, it's pretty clean. And he says here at the bottom, I really like this comment here at the bottom. He said the trend towards tokenization is accelerating. And yeah, I mean, look, I'm quite solid at my Chinese. So
maybe it's Japanese. Is it Japanese or Chinese?
It's Japanese, right? It's Japanese. Sorry. Okay, so look, I'm very good. I mean, I'm very good at that. Okay, let's look at MATIC. Okay, because now this news came out, and if this was Ondo or if this was ETH or whatever, it probably would have ripped. Look at this thing. It's done nothing. Okay. So MATIC, if you are still bullish on MATIC, okay, after this news from Franklin Templeton that did nothing to the MATIC price, what you can do is start looking at some solid areas. Now, I'm on the verge of giving up on MATIC, right? It's just been absolutely letting me down. But a big area of interest here for me for MATIC, 0.67. You can see this nice little support level looking good here. So 0.67 for MATIC traders. If you're DCAing and you're looking for buyers, because now MATIC is a big player in RWAs and all these things, that's a zone that you're going to pay attention to. And then I've got a massive area here on MATIC that we actually can't ignore. And it's been tapped now last week on that meltdown that we have. But this is a massive zone for MATIC, and there's a couple of reasons why this is an interesting area for us, and maybe that could be the bottom of the move over the next 2 weeks if there is going to be some downside. That is what we're going to be looking at. And that level for me for MATIC, 0.60. So it's 60 cents. And I do have a nice rising trend here on the weekly. So we know that gives us extra confluence there. And I've also got a nice weekly horizontal support. Look at these banger candles here. Look at this. And this is how we know the 60 cents level for MATIC is going to take a lot. It's going to take a lot to break this level. And I mean, look, MATIC hasn't been the best performer, to be fair. We used to trade this one a lot in 2021 and those things, but potential 100% move here on MATIC if it's going to come back and visit the highs from March. Okay, so this was just the other day. Okay, so if it is going to come back, that's where you want to buy. You want to buy it on these good levels, and that's, well, good luck with MATIC. Okay, now XRP's ugly cousin, and to be fair, this one has pumped multiple times. You can see the guys have done well out of this one, but pretty unresponsive based on the type of news floating around there. And what I'm looking at here, it's just keep it very simple. For me, XLM, if this thing's going to turn bullish now, and it actually does start doing what they say it's going to do, and it gets all the traction that everybody wants, well, 0.102. That is your zone. It's a 786. It's a lot of weekly support. It's a massive zone. So if you are buying XLM or you are holding XLM, that is where you're adding. That is what you're looking at. And look, anything can happen here with XLM. I know we've seen some big levels and big highs in the past. And if you take a look at this chart, we are actually nowhere in the grand scheme of things. Now, not saying that it's not going to go back up there. Obviously, it's look, it would be very unlikely for me, in my opinion, for XLM to go back up to these type of levels. But what you can do is you can start looking at some other reasonable areas to attack eventually. So if you're holding spot bags and things like that, and you have a long-term view now, now remember, we might still be getting our dip into this region first. So we could see a lot of downside first, but your first big upside area on XLM is going to be 0.17, that sort of region. And that's, well, let's just see the size of this move if it does push up. So that's about a 70%. Okay, so if you're bullish on XLM, there's some nice levels for you. Franklin Templeton, top 20 investment institution throwing their weight behind MATIC and XLM. Okay, well, let's see how that plays out. Okay, right. Now, we're talking about altcoins getting wrecked. We're talking about altcoins feeling heat. And I have noticed today that Ocean is under a lot of pressure. Okay, so Ocean is now moving into its first area of interest. And now what I'm worried about now is if Ocean is now sitting on this level and we start getting a dominance bounce, okay, we're going to start seeing this on a lot of altcoins now. We're going to need to start planning for our next level, our next move down. And that could be potentially on Ocean a 12% drop to our next reasonable area of a possible bounce. So what we need to do is constantly just keep our eyes on this Bitcoin dominance and watch that. And the minute this dominance bounces, we need to really keep our eyes on these altcoins, because that could be the move that really starts pushing these altcoins down now and losing these levels. So remember, as long as this dominance is falling, these alts are fighting back, and we can stay relatively calm. If they start pushing higher, you really need to start paying attention as to what is going on there. Let's see. Crispy Boy says he got liquidated on PopCat. How do you get liquidated on PopCat? I thought there was a spot buy. Let's see what else. Wait, I'm going through the chats here. Chat. Questions for Dot again. Rob says, yo. Let's see what else we got. Zwelegu says, greetings. Bumpy Knuckles. Now that's a name. Ray likes Diablo, apparently. Mr. Kriplin says, loves the TA. Okay, guys, let's look at the next one and pay attention to what is going to happen here. This is Render. Okay, similar story now. Render looking dangerous. Okay, Render has now lost a rising trend. Is this a sign that we are now front running, losing levels? We've seen Ocean start falling over AI. We've seen Render start falling over also AI. What is going on here at the moment with the market? Because we've seen things like Solana and Link holding their levels really nicely, and AI printing lower levels. Are they front running maybe a bigger move lower down? So now we often see these signs and these signals in the market when we start getting trend losses on some tokens, and then generally the market seems to follow. So this is just a warning sign. Again, let's exercise caution. What can we see floating around on the market? Well, there's a lot of these situations here where we've got the 4-hour stock at the bottom. We haven't had a 4-hour stock push higher yet, and we've got a lot of these tokens with the daily sitting at the top, and the daily still wants to come down. So that tells us that even if we're getting short-term moves higher, until that daily is reset, we could easily be looking for this next move down for Render before we've got that daily reset and before we get our next big bounce. So if you are looking for positions on Render, there's a little bit of patience needs to be had here. And if you are a bear, well, this might play perfectly into your hands. So the bears can look for shorts on any push into an old support zone, which is going to be a resistance area. So if you are brave enough to short the crypto market, because remember, let me remind you one more time. Okay, this is what they do, okay, randomly at random times, okay, okay. So if you want to be shorting, just be careful and understand where you're going. They can do this to you at any point in time, and you want to just be shorting at nice horizontals and nice solid regions that were support previously. So what I would suggest here, if you're looking for a short here on Render, anything into that 382, that could give you a nice little push lower down. Okay, so if we flip this guy over, and you'll see the setup looks very much the same as when you are looking for a long position. Okay, so let's look at that. And now let's say Render wants to push higher up here or lower down for this example. When it comes back for the retest, that then gives you your opportunity to open your short. So the guys on Sniper Club today were asking the question, show us how to short. Well, it's exactly the same principle that you do when you are long. You're just inverting your system. So this would be a classic trend break and a nice little retest on a good support zone, trends, horizontals, all these types of things. And that should give you your opportunity then for your move. So let's rotate this back. And if you are looking for longs, where you're going to look, this is where you're going to fish 7.6. Okay, that's your next area. So that's potentially for Render, we are looking at an 8% move, maybe a little bit more, call it 10% down for Render. So this next phase is now in play for Render. So we just need to pay attention now and watch these levels closely. Okay, next one is GALA Games. I've teed this one up for you as well. And another move that could happen here that's going to give us potential 10% downside on GALA, 10% lower down. And then if we extend it to the lows, it's about 25%. So right now, bulls are saying we need a bounce. GALA needs to bounce here. And just like Link at the moment, it's sitting on a nice support band at the moment. So if you are looking for longs, this is your support area that you are playing on at the moment. If we start losing this area, you need to plan for a 10% move lower down to your next area. Don't get caught in a long position when you start getting bled out onto a 618. So just look out there on GALA and look out on all of your tokens. And a reminder, this is the time to really be trading less. This is the time to be a little bit more watchful. The market can get a little bit choppy at the moment and sometimes less exciting, but you need to stay the course and make sure you have ammo available for when things do start turning very bullish again. Then you can really take advantage of things. Okay, and another one for you here before we get into some meme tokens that I want to cover. This is Solana. Okay, so a nice big one for us to watch, and doing the same thing that we are seeing on some of these other tokens at the moment, pushing down into a 382. I showed you guys this level yesterday. I said I still want to see this get tested. So what am I looking for here? Easily Solana can come get tested onto this level, maybe a little fake out lower down. So look out at around about 139, 140, that sort of thing. Look out at that region. There are signs, for example, that it could give you some kind of short-term bounce here. Look at that 4-hour stock at the bottom there turning down. And, but short-term bounces, you're looking for resistance zones where you can exit and where you can TP early. And remember, if we lose this level now in Sol, you need to be patient. You need to just step back and let it do its thing. Don't start FOMOing in. Don't start panic buying the minute you see a little reversal candle. Just let it do a thing, because the signs are there that it might want to come down to 127, 128, that sort of region before you get your next opportunity. So just play it safe at the moment. Okay, another one here, IMX. This was a short setup I gave in the Sniper Club not too long ago. It was a typical reaction here on horizontals and trend. And you can see here we had our trend, we had our horizontals. So it was just a typical push into a resistance zone. And IMX is now dropping lower and moving down and currently losing the 200-day MA and the 618. So that is not really a good sign at the moment for IMX traders. But there is relief for you coming. So if we do get this market meltdown here and these alts start losing their levels, you're looking at about a 10 to 15% move down for IMX before you can get your next long opportunity. So your next long or your next bounce opportunity for IMX is only going to be around about 1.72, 1.73. And if we start losing that region, then you need to mark this guy on your charts, because then we are in for 30% of downside here on IMX. That could take you down to about 1.18, as deep as that. So your next realistic zone for a bounce for me, 1.7. Look out for that area, and it's going to look something along these lines. Just look out for a fake out, obviously down below the level. We know these guys love to just trickle you down, bleed you down, and then fake you out before they give you a little bounce. So always just look out for that little stop hunt under these strong zones before you get some kind of reaction or some kind of bounce. Okay, guys, how's everybody here? What's happening? Omni. What is Omni? Did Dylan just say have some ammo for when? Are you guys trading when here as well? Let's see. Jockey says everything is still bullish, so don't panic sell. Guys, never panic sell. They never panic sell. Just watch your areas, understand your levels, know where your exit zones are, know where your next entry level is. Never just do something randomly and panic without sitting in front of the chart and really just seeing what they are actually giving us and what their plan is. Okay, let's go. Okay, let's cover TON. Okay, so this TON entry from yesterday, this is still in play. Put this alarm on. I gave you guys the setup yesterday. We are not there yet, but it's moving in. I won't harp on this too long, but yesterday I gave you 5 or 6 reasons why this 4.7 to 4.8 region, or even a little bit higher, 4.9, could be a solid area here for TON traders. So look out for that zone. If they do bleed us down, I would expect TON to recover quite quickly if they do bleed us down, just based on the current bullish situation here with TON and all the nice news we are hearing. So look out for this setup. Just put your alarms on at 4.9. If we get that dip from TON in the next in the next day or two, that is, for me, is a nice little bounce area that you want to play out. And then Neo, I gave you the setup yesterday, and nice little mover. Look, in a market that's been pretty choppy and pretty frustrating, we had a lovely move here off Neo. Now remember, Neo, I told you guys yesterday, there were multiple reasons here in the stocks as to why this thing could potentially bounce a little bit harder than some of the other tokens. And we had all these stochastic RSIs at the bottom that were reset. Look at that, the dailies at the bottom, the 12 hours at the bottom. We had the 8 hour starting to turn, and where's our 4 hour? Now our 4 hours finally pushed up. So there were reasons why Neo looked like it was going to give us a bounce, and it really just came in perfectly. Look at this. And again, a reminder for those of you that are new to trading, or even those of seasoned traders here watching, 50-day moving average, 618 fib. I mean, they deliver time and time again. They give us results. Look how tight this Neo candle just pushed into the 618. I mean, it's an absolute thing of beauty, the way these things react for us and on these charts. So get the 50-day moving average on your chart, get the 618 there, and use it in confluence with whatever else you guys are using. I know there's different trading styles and different things that you guys use, but definitely just add that. It will add a bit of weight to some of your decision making on your charts. James says, "We're fucked. Sell everything." Guys, never panic. Never, ever panic. Okay, let's get into some meme tokens here. And the first one I want to talk about is this base. Now, I haven't really traded Brett on based. Okay, so this is this Brett token. So basically what happened here, it fell down 34% in 24 hours following a report on how insiders were holding over 81% of supply at launch. Remember, if you're buying meme coins, and the holders are holding 81% of supply, that's generally quite a dangerous situation. So you want to be very measured and careful with the meme coins that you are buying. And when there's FUD like that going around, obviously or naturally, these things are going to start dipping. But on a solid meme coin like this, when you get a bit of FUD, and we know the community and the markets, they were loving this thing not too long ago. And when you get FUD like this, generally, it looks like a buying opportunity for these type of things. And especially if they come out with some kind of announcement or some kind of PR play that, now they don't own or hold 81% of the supply, whatever the story is that's going to come out, just keep your eyes on this Brett or base Brett that on base. So watch this. At the moment, you can see they have tried to reverse it now in this region. You can see the buyers are starting to step in at this 0.038 level. And look, if you're interested, it's not, look, it's a risky play, obviously, with what's in the news. But these things, with all the news behind this and things like that, it could be an interesting one to take a look at if you want to take a little bit of risk. And what I would say here is watch this low, watch this extreme low. If you start losing that extreme low, it means they're dumping, okay? And then it's time to start moving out of this thing. So watch the 0.0373. Let's see. Maybe it gives you a nice little recovery. And, from here, we could be looking at about a 59% move just to that next high. So if that is interesting to you and, you want to go through the process of buying this guy, well, now you can actually buy this thing on a couple of exchanges. And so it's a little bit easier, but there's a potential move there for you of about 60% that you can pay attention to. There's another little area there, interesting, around about 0.054 that you can watch. Okay, what other memes do you guys want here? I've got a couple teed up here. Just talk to me in the chat here. Talk to me. What's going on? Satish says, Gummy is down 65%. Well, I've got you covered. We're going to look at Gummy. We're going to look at these levels. This is a very good point from IX. He says, Brett still doesn't look worse than Alts, though. You know what? It's been very interesting the way these meme tokens have held while the market has melted down. And, 𝗘𝗘𝗅 is another prime example of something that's been doing well. But we're going to get to 𝗘𝗘𝗅 shortly. Popcat. Okay, the cats are back. And, now it's all about soul cats. At the moment, we had 𝗕𝗚𝗚 and we had 𝗓𝗏𝗏. They were on other networks. I think it was ETH, and what 𝗓𝗏𝗏 was on. 𝗓𝗏𝗏 was also on ETH, I believe. But it's all about Popcat. I spoke to Uncle Gustavo today, and he's like, "No, Popcat's it's the number one cat meme on Sol at the moment. It's overtaken Mew, which is massive news. And you guys will remember, I brought Popcat onto my show probably last week, a couple of days back. And I was talking about this thing breaking these levels, and you can see this thing is turning super bullish here. Is Popcat going to be the first Sol cat that hits 1 billion? Is this going to be the cat that goes 2x from here? Right now, it's a $500 million market cap, and there's some guys talking that this thing could be the first cat billionaire on Solana. So let's pay attention to Popcat. And we spoke about this one when we had the breakout quite recently. It was we were sitting somewhere in this region, and this for me is still a big support zone. So if you get dips into this guy for Popcat, anything down into the 0.39 region, anywhere in that area for me on Popcat looks like a nice juicy zone, looks like an area where you want to be grabbing a little bit of Popcat, especially if you think these meme tokens these cat memes are going to do things like WIF that has gone to $3 or $4 billion. is Popcat going to go to $1 billion? Well, I think, it's not going to give you 100x from here, but you could get a couple of X's out of this thing. So watch Popcat. I like that level down there, 0.38, 0.39, anywhere in that nice little horizontal for me. Looks like a little zone of interest that you can play around in. Okay, here's another one. Now, everyone was asking me about Hammy yesterday in the chats, and I think you guys were even hitting me on Twitter there, you were talking Hammy. Guys, remember, you can always follow me on Twitter at the Lord of Entry. And if you see anything cool, and you want to tag me in something, you're welcome to tag me. Let me just push my profile button here. There we go, at the Lord of Entry. Follow me on Twitter. I'm posting so much alpha for you guys at the moment, and happy if you want to tag me on. If I post some cool news and you think there's relevant charts to it and things like that, just tag me the charts that you want to see, and I'll happily try and involve them and get them into the show for you guys. Okay, let's go Hammy. Here we are. So I looked at this Hammy with Spoonicus. We had him on my show, and he was talking about Hammy, and we actually charted this thing around, well, when was this? End of March, we had him around here. And wow, look at the size of this move. Now, I see this thing has pulled back a hell of a lot. But let's just recap this, because this is actually a brute of a move. I'm not sure if you guys bought this one when I was speaking about it, but a 260% pump. That's quite a nice little result there for a little meme coin. And now, Hammy, what are we looking at? We're a $3 million market cap, so that's pretty tiny at the moment. What did it reach before? Well, it's let's just check the size of this thing. If it was at 37, 10x takes us to, we probably went to a $30 million market cap there on Hammy. So probably a big move there. So what I'm saying here, what am I looking at for Hammy? I would say watch your support zones. You can see it might have bottomed out now. Okay, so we might have a low for Hammy. Now remember, these things are spot type plays, and these meme coins are super volatile. But if you catch them on the right time, and you catch them on weakness, you can often just participate in these type of moves. Look at this, 200% upside here for Hammy to the range high. So 200% here potentially on the table again if Hammy comes back down to this little region. So look out here. Let's see if Hammy wants to push into the zone one more time, and maybe it's going to give us a little 200%er. So there you go, Hammy, guys. Hopefully you're happy now. You've been asking me for days in the chat, so now you are covered on Hammy. This is a good area. I think there's good upside there for Hammy. No?
No. We need some upside on the likes. We can't have. God. We have 420 likes. 400 to 420. Yes, I know I'm smoking, but we need to smash the likes. They need to be.
Make Uncle Ray happy. Okay. If you like the content, hit the like, hit the subscribe. And now yesterday, yesterday, for some reason, the comments on my show got switched off by accident. And yesterday I said to you guys, leave the token's name in the chat, in the comments, or in the comments after the show, and I'll chart them for you. And I went to the comments, and the comments were switched off. So apologies for that. And what you can do, look at that. I got the thumbs up. This is awesome. When you do this, look at that, bang. I finally got it. It's Friday. So when you go into the comments now after the show, put the tokens in that you want me to look at for you. Then I can look at them this weekend. I can prep it for you, and I can try and bring some of them up for you. So do that for me, guys. Yesterday when I asked you to do that, the comments were switched off. So sorry about that. I don't know how that happened. Oh, and then another thing I need to tell you guys about. Yesterday during the live show, I was talking about an AI token called PAL, P-A-A-L. That I was quite bullish on, but for some reason I had Palm Network on as well. Now there's nothing wrong with Palm Network, but the token I was talking about was actually PAL, so I mixed up the coin market cap and the chart. So please forgive me for making that mistake, but the chart you were looking at yesterday was PAAL, and that's what I was buying on that 786. So forgive me for mixing that one up. Okay, let's cover 𝗏𝗏, and again, big things here for 𝗏𝗏, guys. I want to remind you again, there's some big things happening on this 𝗏𝗏, and right now, $55 million market cap. Could this thing go 10x from here? Possibly. Okay, could it go 2 or 3x from here? I would say pretty seriously, I think you need to consider what can happen here with 𝗏𝗏. So there's a media machine happening now behind the scenes on Tuka. There could be some action here. They're producing amazing content. There's an incredible team behind Tuka. There's researchers, there's script writers, there's a whole situation with Tuka, and he's got his own news channel now. So take a look at this Tuka token, and you know, you never know, this thing might be on exchanges soon. Anything could be happening with this token. So while it's still low or while it's still cheap, I would say look for entries where you can. Look for entries on weakness. Preferably you want to buy any test of support. That would be ideal for you. And you know, look, I've got a lot of Tuka, and I'm a fan of this project, obviously. And I think I brought it to you guys at probably a $3 or $4 million market cap. It's now $50 million. I think there's potentially some more in the tank here. And if you want a piece of this Tuka, try and buy it on weakness if you can, or just DCA in. And there's some big things happening there. So number one level for me, Tuka, this has been the same level we've been looking at on the show now for the last week or two, 0.04. Okay, 0.04. If you get Tuka at 0.04, that is probably a very good buy area. And then you've got a nice little trend as well that you can pay attention to. If you're buying at these lows, when we eventually break that trend, you can always top up or add to your position when it's telling you that now we have a trend break that could be start pushing higher. Okay, so take a look at Tuka, watch the content. He's got his own channel on YouTube, so subscribe to his channel. He's got his own Twitter account, obviously, and you know, just take a look at that. Really. Okay, here's GUMMY. You guys were asking me for GUMMY, so yeah, what is my assessment right now? This is the 30-minute chart. Well, it's pushing down onto some big support levels, so we just need to watch carefully here. This is support level number 1, and we just want to identify our next areas. If we start getting more downside here on GUMMY, you want to look at your areas where you can buy this token, and you want to look for, you know, nice solid zones of interest. So let's just mark out a couple here that you could look at. Okay, so right now, if GUMMY doesn't bounce here, 0.9, look for some buys here in this area, 0.9, and then a little bit lower down, you're looking at 0.063. Okay, that's another area for you where you can accumulate or grab some more. Okay, 0.063, and then a little bit lower down, 0.047. Okay, now there's a lot happening with GUMMY as well that we know about. There's going to be an airdrop and a staking narrative happening. You guys obviously all aware of the airdrops and things like that right now with GUMMY, and there's going to be new tokens coming out. So you're going to have to stake GUMMY to get the new tokens. And remember, if there's a staking narrative and people are locking up tokens, that often turns out into quite a bullish scenario. So when you see selling like this, remember that a lot of people got these tokens for free. Okay, so it's perfectly normal if some people start taking profits or start selling their tokens. But remember, when the wheel starts turning here and people have to start staking GUMMY, they're going to start buying it up again. And this thing is going to start reversing. So watch big levels here. For me, GUMMY 0.09, watch 0.065, watch 0.048. Okay, watch these areas for GUMMY. These are areas you want to be buying. And if you want to add to your bags, that's what you got to be doing. Okay, give me some memes. I saw you guys wanted some whiff, and oh yeah, Rob, Redo Dog. I love that Redo Dog. I've got some of this Redo Dog. Let's look at this. Let's look at this Redo Dog here. Okay, let's see how we're going here. So Redo Dog. Remember, Redo Dog is the first dog on the TON network. Okay, and you know, what does that mean? Well, basically you just want to buy the dogs on these networks because we know these memes really fire and they do really nicely. So nice little pullback here on Redo Dog. Remember, volatility in these meme coins, it's normal, and you see moves like that, it's perfectly normal for this sector of the market. Okay, so put it that way. And what would I watch here for Redo Dog? I'd say, well, watch this trend and your big zone. For me, this is where you're accumulating. Okay, if you are bullish on TON and you are bullish on their whole concept and what they're doing, and they're doing some ridiculous things there at the moment, you want to be looking 0.38. That's a solid buy zone. Remember, you want to be accumulating these tokens for a much bigger move. When this market turns super bull again, these things are all going to start bouncing and ripping. This whole meme narrative is going to come back. You can just imagine what happens. You know, if TON is sitting at what, $6 now, and suddenly in a bull market TON is sitting at $20, where do you think the dog is going to be? Where's this redemption dog going to be? Surely it's going to be a few X's up from here. So for me, I'm holding TON and I'm holding Redo. Okay, these are my two plays on the TON network at the moment. Iman says, did I miss the gummy charting? Iman, if you've just tuned in, you haven't missed it. Just fast forward and, or reverse. Yeah, it depends where you jumped in. But yeah, we've covered some gummy there for you. Luke wants some whiff. Let's cover some whiff for Luke. Let's get this out here. Okay, here we go. Let's take a look at this here. Let's go to 8 hour. Okay, so the first thing we can see here with whiff, we've got a rising trend. And remember, if we start losing a rising trend, it's often a sign that things are going to potentially start turning over. So we need to just be a little bit watchful when we start banging into these trends. Let's watch this region here. Okay, I see we've got a 50-day moving average finally starting to show its face here. Okay, so that little red mark here is the 50-day moving average that we're watching. So keep your eyes on that. That is now resistance at $3 for whiff. Then your next area of interest, we've got a nice little horizontal we can play with here. Watch that guy. Okay, so whiff areas of interest. You want to watch this trend and you want to watch this horizontal. So a dip into this region shouldn't be too bearish if we get that bounce, okay? Shouldn't be too bearish if we recover that trend quite quickly. If we start losing this area and go a little bit deeper, then you're most likely going to get a retest like that into the horizontal, and then they're going to push it lower. So look out. If we lose this trend and we start printing new lows, underneath this horizontal at 2.75. If we really go deep under this 2.75 and close underneath that area, then I would say the next pump up, you're looking to sell into that region. So your potential short opportunity then would be at loss of that, and then a little move up into that area, that little retest. You're going to look at something along those lines. But until we've lost that trend, you can't be too bearish. And remember, you want to play the trend until the trend is broken. You want to play the range until the range is broken. We can't decide every time we get to a range high that this time is different. If we spend our life saying this time is different, this time is different, this time is different, we're going to kill ourselves, because how often do you see these ranges play out? How often do you see these trends hold? So if you treat the trend the same way every time, you eventually start winning. Okay, and then eventually these things lose the trend, and then you reassess your plan, and then you go again. So that's the nature of trading. Obviously, if you're just holding spot bags, then it doesn't really matter if it's losing trend or not. Then you're just accumulating and buying. But for the traders out there, remember, key lesson here: trade the range till it breaks. Trade the trend until it breaks. There's no reason to treat it any differently. So if you see a trend support you guys have seen for years, well, not for years, probably I've been around, 6 months for you guys, but you've watched me for 6 months. We play these solid zones, and eventually they do break, and then we play the next area and the next one, and so on. So just stay the course, play the trends, play the ranges, and eventually they break. And when they break, we reassess and we move on to the next one. Okay, let's do one more meme coin. Yeah, Paul wants some Foxy. I'm assuming Foxy is a meme coin. Yeah, so let's get this out. What's the story with Foxy? Ray, do you know this thing?
Not the meme expert, man. Not the meme expert.
Foxy. I don't even know what network this was on. Somebody asked me to chart it recently. You can see I was fiddling around with this one. But I don't even know what network it's on. Guys in the chats, do you know what network Foxy is on? Okay, looking interesting here. Okay, we got a rising trend. We got a 618, so let it bleed into that zone. So maybe a little bit more downside here on Foxy. Just give it a little bit of time. And before you really want to look for a long, you want to just let it settle into a zone of interest. So you can see what we've got here. We've got a rising trend. We've got some horizontals in play. Okay, so look, that looks decent. Rising trend. Okay, so that makes sense to me. If we're going to push down, let's see. Little 618 fib. Where did we get a reaction? We've got a reaction there. Where did we get a reaction over there? So look for a little 618 fib ping here, a little loss of trend, a little stop hunt, something along those lines. Maybe a little move like that. And then same story as these others. If you lose that trend, then you step back, okay? And we take a look and we reassess. We look at our next area and our next levels. Guys, I'm out. Weekend. Have a great weekend. You know these areas, you got your levels, rewatch the chart. I mean, sometimes I look at my own show afterwards to check the levels that I've given. If I don't have my PC in front of me, I can highly recommend it because these levels will last you for a few days. So go onto the show on the weekend, even if things are falling over, go onto the show, look at the charts, okay, that I've given you. If they're falling over, make sure you grab these things at their good areas, at their nice bounce zones, and just mark them on your own charts. Okay, guys, I'm out of here. Ray, thanks for hanging. See you guys later.